mail.
Hey guys, doing a special segment here. We didn't have enough time on the Bet On It show to answer the questions. We do appreciate you sending them in. So going to fire them out here to Marco and Ace. Start off with you, Marco, from at Dr. Prestongs. He asks, good question here, by the way, from an NFL fan who reluctantly bets NBA in the offseason, what are the key numbers in NBA sides akin to 3 and 7 in the NFL? Question mark.
Well, I had an assist on this one from my buddy Ralph. I knew what the number was in my head, and I wanted to just get it confirmed. The biggest number in the NBA is the number 7. That's where a game's going to land the most. And the reason 7 is that's generally when, if you're down into those last 30 seconds of a game and you're sitting at 7, that's when you're going to wave the white flag and realize you're not going to get 3 possessions and win a game. So we did it for the last 2 years and the last 5 years since 2015. Last 2 years, sample size of 1,965 games played. Landing on 7 was the highest result. Same way for since 2015, 5,902 games. 7 was the biggest number. But it's not that big of a difference. It's spread out, and that's the thing about basketball is you can land on any number. I know when you're looking for middles and stuff, every number's live because, you know, how the frequency of scoring,
right,
unlike in football. But if you are looking for a key number, if you're taking a dog and you're only getting 6.5, you want to kind of look for that 7. If you're a favorite and there's 7.5, you want to shop for 7. That is my takeaway for you if you're looking for a number.
Yeah, and this is a great question, guys. And just off the top of my head, I want to get your guys' opinion. Do you think there's any advantage here in handicapping, especially in college basketball, because they'll kind of go off the cuff a little bit more, and when a coach directs his kids to start fouling? Because I was a $2 guy last week. It was Virginia Tech Wake, took it under, and it was on pace to win. And I'll tell you, the Demon Deacons started fouling right when they got over the half-court line with like 3 minutes left. And I've thought to myself, right when that happens, I'm like, this might be a handicapping angle here to be betting the Demon Deacons when they're, you know, underdogs by, you know, 7 to 10 here, because just the possessions at the end will push it over. Do you think there's anything to that?
Different coaches have different styles. Some coaches give up early, other ones don't. It's frustrating. It seems like when they do that, it's opposite of whichever way I'm on the total.
It's worked in my favor. It was just, you know, that time it was pretty direct.
And it's frustrating whenever you have a game that was dead stone cold under the whole way, and all of a sudden in the last 2 minutes you get 20 points on the board.
Right.
It's frustrating as hell. Put up a 3 and, you know, and then they hit all the foul shots.
Yeah, it happens. We got next question here from Rufians. He asks, Ace, how important are futures tickets when the book is setting Super Bowl lines? Question mark. Do they play a factor?
No, not in the Super Bowl. It's the biggest bet game.
Okay.
You got to remember, there's so much volume going to be bet. And with futures, it's kind of like pari-mutuel. Every book could differ because their odds change based on the money that's bet. So if all the money at one book is coming in on the Eagles to win the Super Bowl, their odds are going to be a lot lower. Across the street, they may be getting a lot more money on Dallas to win the Super Bowl. So you'll get better Eagles lines there. Each individual book may shade a little bit if they're real heavy on Kansas City's future or real heavy on San Fran future. But I don't think with the Super Bowl line anyone's even considering that. Just individual books may, but not the line across the board.
Okay, thanks, Gianni. We got As Wise Guys Wager asking, what 5 new coaches, Judge, McCarthy, Rule, Rivera, of the 5 new NFL coaching hires, which one do you think makes the best impact for the team that hired them, Marco?
I really like Carolina and Coach Rule. I was a big fan of him at Baylor. I was an even bigger fan of him when he was at Temple. And this is a guy that has shown he's gone to places and resurrected programs. Temple was not on the map, and he made them a known power in their conference and actually, you know, went out and played well in bowl games and so forth. Took that to Baylor, a team that I was surprised that he took the Baylor job, because as good of a job as he did at Temple, he really could have had just about any job he wanted. And he chose to take a school that was in the middle
there's some
of
questions there. Yeah.
total chaos with everything that was going on off the field. And, to be able to go in and recruit against Oklahoma and everybody else, and he got that program where he got it in a very short period of time. Carolina's not that far away from an NFL team to be. Just think, they're how many years removed from the Super Bowl? You haven't had a healthy Cam Newton. I think he can turn his team around in a quick hurry. I like the hire there, and I think he's going to make the biggest impact of the 5. So maybe look for a little futures wager on Carolina.
Ooh, liking the pan.
Right.
And do you think kind of his projection here for the team, is he going to stick with Cam Newton as his man?
That's going to be his first big decision, and I think it's going to have to sit down with the doctors and just where is Cam Newton on the health scale? Because we saw 2 years ago at the end of the season, he was bad, and then we saw it just never had it this year. So it might be time to move on and go out there and find it, but we've seen he can get a quarterback to their maximum potential.
Ace, one more question here. What percentage of your bankroll do you allot for Super Bowl props? This from Omaha Luke in Lincoln. He's asking, what percentage of your bankroll do you allot for Super Bowl props?
All of it, Luke. Just bet till you run out of money, brother. Just bet them till you run out of money. No, in all seriousness, it depends what you're doing it for. If you're doing it for entertainment, then you take a portion of your bankroll that you allot for that game, whether it be 5, 10, 15, 20%, what you feel comfortable, your risk tolerance. And, if it comes out to being 200, I would probably put $50 on the side or total, and then probably bet 3 or 4, 5, $25 props. Now, if you're betting for profit and you're actually, then it's a different story. Well, I had more money on the props than I had on the game last year. I mean, if the props offer you more value, your bet size should be based on your value, the bet that is offering you. And if the prop bet happens to offer you more value than the total or the side, forget the game and just bet the prop. I mean, a lot of the goal is to make money, not watch the game. So for me, I'll have probably more prop bets than the game when it's all said and done.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Guys, great questions there. Great show on Bet On It. For Gianni and Marco, I'm Drew Martin. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week. Kelly Stewart will be back, so best of luck until then.